What is going on, YouTube? AJ here, playing Final Fantasy XI Online. CatsEyeXI private server. I just noticed that I have my laundry machine going, so I'm gonna close the laundry door so we don't hear that. One moment. Sorry about that. Okay. So we are going to do some spell hunting. Earlier, off recording, I had gotten... Now where is it? Huh. I thought I got that, where would that be? Not there, no. Well, we thought that we had the... Oh, there we go. Here we go. We did a little bit of COP, and we unlocked... Riverne... Riverne Site A1, A01, Riverne Site A01. And we're getting to the point, I'm looking at our, the amount of, let's see if we can do... this. Looking at the amount of spells that we have left, and we may be able to start like just XPing and picking up spells like in chunks. It doesn't look like we have a ton. Doesn't look like we have a ton left. Okay, so we have a hippogriff and a dragon right here. I always go to one for some reason. Looks like we have a lot there. I don't know what aggroes. I think they both aggro. I think the hippogriff and the drake's aggro. Okay. So let's try to aggro one and pull it out. Hi. Come over here, buddy. Now I wonder if Halver is going to be too much. Yeah, he might be too much. And again, we tried to solo 9-2 with trusts, and that did not work. Oh boy, did that not work. I think, what is this? Is this Radiant Breath that we're looking for? So we got a list about 10, I think I have a list of about 10 spells. Maybe a little bit more that we're going to work on, and then we're going to start XPing. We're going to try to get blue to 75. I have a feeling doing 9-2 a couple of times and not doing it, or is it Deadly Drive? Is that what we get? No. Or Howling Screams? I don't even know. So I think that Halver, I think you're a little too much. Let's go with you. Because I'd like to XP on... I'd like to focus on XP on the blue mage at one point. Sounds like the kiddo's still awake at 11 o'clock at night. He did take a nap today, so that's to be expected. I swear. It is so odd to me. If the kid, and it wasn't even a long nap. I think it was like 45 minutes. He takes a nap. Doesn't matter how long that nap is. He will be awake. Come on. Hello. Don't you want to aggro me? Are you too weak? Yep. We are in the middle of gain experience for the ROE. And we're not gaining experience. So yeah, I think the goal is for me to... I think I can... With trusts, I think I can solo 9-2 as a blue ninja. I think if I go in there with shadows and stone skin, I could get a AoE sleep, like a sheep song off, and then just start killing things one by one. Because I think that's kind of the strategy for if you didn't have trusts would be to AoE, you know, Black Mage AoE sleep. But yeah, I mean, we're getting there. I mean, what are we, 59? Be nice if we'd be getting experience. So we might get these two, and then Fang Rush. I forget what we're trying to get from him. It's not Deadly Drive. I think it's a breath, isn't it? Hawker Trap. I remember, I think it was Riverne Site B01. We did some XPing on one of my statics. I think on the Somi. I think it was on the Somi. And it was that XP was ridiculous. I forget what it was. I think it was birds. Some sort of bird. Because that was a static that we had 2 rangers. I was one of the rangers. We had another ranger, and it would just be mobs would melt. Barrages and Wind Wall. So we got a lot of, looks like we have at least 3 TP moves that we've seen, and none of them are the ones we're looking for. So I think we're gonna then, after, I'm hoping we could get these 2. Which I think this is Radiant Breath. We might go to on Zanzo, and we're probably we're gonna need some more firepower there. But I think we're gonna do on Zanzo for Death Scissors and Maelstrom. And we'll probably end up dying, but that's okay. That place is just super packed with mobs. Another TP move. again, it's probably one of those mobs that's got, what, 6 or 7? Ooh, that's what we want. Ooh, that's a cool one. Let's learn it. Nope. It gave us 2, too. These Riverne sites have, like, I think this is the first hippogriff mob you see. I love that design. That looks so cool. They did such a good job. And I think we're looking for Jetta-Taru. And for some reason, whenever I see that, I always just think of a hipster Taru driving a Volkswagen. Odd, I know. I wish these weren't all too weak. Try to get some skill up. I keep on forgetting to... I should be off recording. I cannot cast pollen. Do I not have pollen? Shoot, I didn't put pollen on, did I? $196. I should be skilling up my blue magic off recording. Probably make this go by quicker. Dispelling Wind. Jeez, that would have been nice. Well, I guess we can see if these link. I'm sure they link. Or not. Maybe it was too far away, on a different plane. Back heel. Cut that out. Man, that really is a cool model. I think you could get one of these as a mount with login points. Jetta-Taru. What is it supposed to do? Oh, that would tell me. Alright, cool. Oh no, not the... Actually not cool. The... Yeah. The curse of the double TP move. We will never learn it. We've never learned it. We've never learned a blue magic spell when that has been cast twice. And I had my microphone muted because, man, Dispelling Wind is really good. I wish I could get that instead. I had my microphone muted because the kid was screaming, and I was talking. We were saying that I think this is the most people we've seen online ever. 229. And again, it's tough. It's tough on a private server to actually know how many people are playing on, especially on private servers that allowed the dual box, because 229 could be, you know, 100 people, because I'm sure people are even triple boxing. But good for CatsEye. I feel like lately, and it's definitely not because of me, it's been growing. You see, you know, even when I'm not recording, if I'm on here, you know, trying to do other stuff, you'll hear, hey, this is my first day, I'm new. What do I do? And with a growing population also comes more, I don't know if there's a nice way to put it, so we'll just flat out say it. It comes more dickheads. Somebody asks a question, and if they ask, like, I mean, if they ask one question or two questions, that's one thing, you know, like, if they're asking, like, a question a minute, You can direct them to the wiki or the website. But like, yeah, I can't stand if somebody says like, "Hey, what should I do here?" And it's always, you know, just some. You get one. You always get one, at least one. Google it, man. Just Google it. It's like they're trying to. Maybe they're trying to interact. It's an MMO. How dare you interrupt my silence with your question? Google it, man. It's like, okay. Now, like I said, if you're asking like a million questions that are answered on the wiki, then, or maybe answer the question and say, hey, you know, there's a pretty good wiki out there for this server. Maybe you should check it out. But no, it's cool to be mean to people on the internet. Here we go. After 22 minutes, we're gonna get our terrorized. Terrorized. That's awesome. I highly doubt it will work on any mobs that matter, but it looks like it's a cone too, right? Frontal cone. And we didn't learn. We are not off to a good start. I don't think we were off to a good start last episode either. Then we got like. Then we got, I think, 3 in a matter of like 5 or 10 minutes. Pollen. I can't cast pollen. Okay, status, combat skill. Okay, sword is maxed at 198. Blue magic, we're capped. We should be learning these things. We should be learning them. But what is today? I think today is the 5th. So I think we got what? The Horizon server will be up. Not this coming weekend. It's Monday the 5th. So not this coming weekend, but the weekend after. And wow, I did not know it was going to be the weekend. Did not know it was going to be the weekend. I kind of just thought, I think you kind of have in your mindset, I think that, is it both music and video games, they normally get released on a Tuesday. So in my head I just thought it was a Tuesday. Yeah, it'll come out on a Tuesday. And I figured that we can check it out during the day. Working from home is nice. If I'm not too busy, I could check out something. And work today. Oh boy, work. Yeah, so, well, I'll get on to work in a second. So on the weekend, I'm not sure. I think it's going to be just... And it might not be. Like, I think the server has so much hype around it. But again, it's still a new server. And when I remember when I left Nozomi for Kupo, people were saying I was an idiot because I had so much invested. I had like probably, you know, millions of gil. I know I had at least 175. I think I don't know if it was warrior. I think I left when my ranger was like 69. Nice. Maybe it was monk. I had something at 75. I had something at 75, then I had like 2 other jobs very close to 75. And I just got sick of the owner of that server, calls himself Nozomi. Uh, he just he was one of those people from, and this, I don't know him, so I'm just giving you what is like widely understood. Is that he didn't want anybody's help. He wanted to run the server himself. He wanted to make all of the, the coding himself. Like if somebody was like, "Hey, I could help you out," he's like, "No, I want to do it all myself." And he kind of just like instead of like taking help and fixing broken stuff, he would just like disable. Like he went like, and I think I've said it before. He disabled all BCNMs, and he created his own system. And it became like untenable. Like if you had started your character like right as that happened, or like around that time, and you were like a red mage, you were just effed, because refresh and like haste, and not haste, refresh, erase, all these like important spells were just skyrocketing in price because you couldn't get them from a BCNM anymore. You had to get through this open world notorious monster. Okay, cool. We got Radiant Breath. And there was just other things like quests would break, and instead of fixing them, he'd just disable. Like, oh, you can't do that no more. So I got sick of it. And, like, at the time, Nozomi was the biggest server. You'd be crazy to go somewhere else. Yeah, when I hopped onto Kupo, which turned into Eden, I think, there'd be like really super early on, I'd be like 15 or 20 people on. And I was coming from Eden. Eden, I think, had, and again, Eden was another one of those ones where you could have, I think, three active characters. Or Nozomi, you could have, I think both Nozomi and Eden, you could have 3 active characters. You'd have one in a major city for Bazaar, and then 2 like dual boxing outside of the city. But I think that at like Nozomi's peak, it was big. It was like maybe 2,000 or 3,000 people. I could be wrong. But yeah, leaving a server like that for a server that had, 20 people, 50 people. I remember I was in East Ron on my monk, I think. And everybody was like, they had a world chat. Kind of like this world LS. And everybody was like really excited. They were counting down when there would be 100 active people on. Like you'd hit the search all, and it'd be like, oh my god, there's 100 people. There's 99 people. We finally did it. And then that went from, again, it was just Kupo. I don't know why they handed it over to the owner of Eden. They did such a good job, I thought. But I don't know. I don't know all the behind the scenes stuff. I don't know how to run a server, so. I'm not saying that Eden did a bad job. It's just, I don't know. Like I said, I spent most of my time on Kupo and not Eden, even though they're the same thing. But work today. Oh, geez, work. So without getting into specifics, because I don't, I will probably, and I've said this before, I'll probably never have a face cam. Sorry, you're gonna miss my my handsome facial features, my wonderful facial hair. Because I work in a very client-facing position where I will regularly get onto like Zoom and Skype calls with people. And again, I don't want to have any hot takes about not liking Britney Spears music and have that bite me in the butt. Oh my gosh, I saw you on the YouTubes. You said you didn't like Taylor Swift. I can no longer do business with you. I'm sure dumber things have happened. Yeah, like I think I said that like in one of my earliest videos that I don't expect. I really don't. I like looking at how you get monetized on YouTube. You need to have like before they even consider you for monetization, you have to have some ridiculous requirements that would probably take me couple of years to get, so I'm not worried about that. I'm not doing this for money. Kind of just doing this as a hobby. And the reason I do it for a hobby is I kind of was asking myself the question like why I was doing it for the hobby. And I think it's because before I had the kid, so 2 years ago. Oh, did he not get it off? Most of like the stuff that I did for quote unquote fun and socializing were like bar related, kind of what I would consider bar related activities. I was in a pool league. I was in multiple pool leagues. We'd have a friendly, like not dart league, but like a friend group of like 4 or 5 people that would, you know, go out every Monday night and shoot darts, go bowling, you know. And I'm like, well, this is all stuff that, you know, like, hey, I'm gonna go to the bar for 3 hours on Tuesday night. I'm gonna leave at like 7 and come back at 10. You know, like have fun with the kid. It wouldn't be fair to my girlfriend, and I like spending time with my kids, so that's fine. So this is my kind of social, my social contact with the universe is talking to you. And yeah, I'm more than fine. The kid is the best thing that ever happened to me, and I love him to death. So, you know, like, I'm happy that I no longer do those things because, again, it's not fair. It's not fair to, like, all right, honey, see you in 4 hours. I'm going to go drink and have fun. You have to take care of the kid yourself. And she wouldn't mind. She's told me that. She's like, you should go. Oh my God, are we going to get an easy prey? This is so exciting. So exciting. Yeah, she'd be more than happy if I went out and did that. She didn't care. But I don't think I'd feel good about it. I mean, I work so much. My average day is like 9 to 12 hours. But again, it's working from home, so it's not like I'm away. So that's not a big deal. But I don't want to work for her, you know. I'm at work from like 7:30 in the morning to 7 at night, and then be like, okay, I'm going to play pool. I was pretty okay at pool. Wasn't great. APA, if you're a pool player, you know APA. I think my highest rank was a 5, and I'd say I was a pretty okay 5. If you're not familiar with APA, the lowest rank that a male can be is 3. So if you just start out, you're going to be like, I think actually if you start out, they put you at a 4 just in case. They do one above the lowest. But if you're like just straight off, I've never even held a pool cue in my life, you'll be a 3. If you're a woman, you'll be a 2. There is no 1. And the highest, I think, the highest, at least when I was playing APA, because then I ended up playing Napa for a while too. I think the highest you could be in APA was 7. So I was right in the middle at a 5. And it was a decent 5. I wasn't a great 5. But what a 5 kind of meant was that, you know, if you and your buddies came into a bar and you weren't, like, if you just kind of banged balls around the table, I could probably easily beat you. Back in the day, I would, in my 20s, I would go to a bar, put the quarters on the table, ended up playing like maybe 2 or 3 hours on $1. People would just keep on playing. Play the winner. So that was fun. I enjoyed it. I spent way too much money on cues. Right now I have my cues in a bag somewhere down here in my office. It's probably I like my break stick and my playing cue. It's probably close to $1,000, which, I mean, you could do a lot worse than that. That's not a lot, but for the average person hearing that, oh, you spent $1,000 on pool cues, they think you're insane. So back to work. Finally. I think we're going to talk about work. Finally. So yeah. Client facing, and that's why I don't want my face on the internet playing Final Fantasy XI. Because again, I'm not a... Like, I may have... views that people might find offensive, but I'm not out to offend anybody, so you probably won't hear them. But yeah, in general, I'm a very kind of live and let live kind of person. If you want to do X, Y, Z with your life, that's fine. Do it. I don't care. As long as you're not like hurting me or my family, I don't care. Do what you want, guys. But yeah, you just... If this is a hobby, then... And if I don't have to show my face, I'm not going to. If it ever becomes a business, I'll happily give you a big toothy grin. But I don't expect that. So anyway, with work... you could think of what I do in my business is it works like a assembly line. Sorry, brain fart there. An assembly line. So, and I'm at the end of the assembly line, and I am client facing, and I'm right at the end of the assembly line. Well, last week somebody messed up big time, and I was like, well, this is not my fault, you know, like, they're like, well, there's nothing we could do, we already made the mistake, you need to fix it. And it's just like, oh man, yeah, I talked to my boss, it's like, you know that, like, I now look like the asshole here. Like, oh, talking to a client, I had no idea who you were. And now we have to do business today. You're going to ask me questions, and I'm not going to be able to answer them because I have no idea who you are. And yeah, no, there's absolutely zero repercussions for the people that fucked up. And and now, granted, if the client is happy, I will get the lion's share of praise. But if the client is disappointed, I will get the blame. So it's not great. Not a great position to be in. And I was doing so well, like I was actually caught up at work, and I was going in at 8, getting off at, 5 or 6, which is early for me, an 8-hour day. And it's rare, but welcome. And my job is my line of work is very volatile. I will never feel completely comfortable. When we're really, really busy, I'll feel comfortable. Let's learn it. Ah, come on. Did I learn it? Not know I learned it? No. We're going to get to an hour and get 2 stinking spells. If we even get this next one. So, unless I am super busy, and even if you're super busy, it's no guarantee. And you could win, not that they have this, but you could win the equivalent of Employee of the Month in November and be fired in December. I've seen it happen. So, yeah, so with that said, the profession that I fell into, it. And it was kind of my first, like, big boy job, I guess you'd say. Yeah, I didn't think that layoffs were, like, an actual thing. I thought layoffs, like, I knew layoffs existed, but I kind of thought they were, like, they were more for, the sitcom family father figure. Honey, I got laid off. And then the wife would be like, don't worry, honey, we're going to make it. And they somehow pull through at the end of the half-hour episode. Like, before that, that's, like, the only, like, experience I had with layoffs. So I'd had my job. My first big boy job. And they kept a metric. And the top, I think it was the top 2% of employees, and that the first job there was probably like maybe 150 to 200 people doing my job. The top 2%, 2 to 5% depending on the month, would get bonuses. And I was like, when I first got the job, I'm like, what? I'm like, how much are the bonuses? And they're like, this X amount. And I'm like, that bonus is basically 50 to 75% of my paycheck. And I'm like, so how do you get the bonus? And here's how you get the bonus. I ended up getting the bonus like ever since like I got hired onto that job, and I found out about the bonus. I got it like probably like 10 months in a row. And it was not that I was better at, like, I just at the time I put in work, like voluntary assignments given to me. That job I was working 60 to 70 hours a week, but I was a lot younger, a lot more single, so you could do it. And we got really busy at that job, so instead of taking the people that were doing the workload and saying, hey, we're going to give you guys, like, it's going to be busy for the next X number of months. Everybody buckle down. We're going to give you all a raise, like an X amount raise. And you get the work done. Because it was possible. Instead of doing that, they threw like 30 more employees onto the problem. And in my line of work, it just always happens that way. Oh, we have an uptick. Let's hire 30 to 50 more people. And when that goes down, they lay off 70 people. Like hire 30, lay off 70. And more than likely, you're keeping the lowest paid people that will do the job. Not the best people, because you just hope that they get better at their job. But yeah, no, you keep the cheapest ones. And I wasn't the cheapest one. So I got laid off first. And it was a major corporation. It's a kind of corporation that I work for there. I can almost guarantee you that no adult in the world, maybe like somebody who's in like the mountains of like Nepal, but there's not one person in the world that wouldn't know this brand. And ooh, easy prey. XP, baby, 300 XP. So I got laid off there, and I got pissed off. I got pretty angry. This is one of the largest companies in the world, and I just got laid off. So my next job was for a startup company doing the same thing. And I was like, okay, here we go. I'm gonna get on ground floor. I'm gonna bust my ass, and in 5-10 years, I'm going to be, CFO, or some high managing person. And look at that, 60, nice. Yeah, I'm getting on the ground floor of this awesome, wonderful. I am surprised they don't link. New company, startup, baby. And yeah, what did I want to say? They were paying well. They were poaching talent. They were poaching talent from like the big boys, because they wanted the best of the best. And I had a friend that got hired on, and they recommended me, so I interview and I get the job. And they're paying me, a good amount of money. No bonuses anymore, but maybe the bonuses will come once this company, gets on its feet. The company was under in 6 months, and and everybody lost their jobs. Everybody lost their jobs. And I was very, I got really nervous. So I got hired in, I think my start date was November. Some point in November. And I think the company had started in, maybe September. And I don't know why they did it. I don't know if they wanted to prove to everybody that they were super awesome. But in December, they hold a Christmas party, and it's open bar, and it's in a fancy restaurant, and I'm like, how can they afford this? It's going to be this is like 3 months of somebody's salary that you're dumping on this Christmas party for a brand new company. Why don't you get a couple of cases of beer and some pizzas and say, hey, we're a startup. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. That money that you are probably used to going to a fancy restaurant for your Christmas parties, the money we're saving for that, we're going to put into the company. Then I would have been excited about that. So that company goes under. 6 months. And I think I was unemployed for maybe 9 months. I burned through all of my savings. At the time, I had no savings, so it was pretty easy to burn through. I cashed in a couple of retirement plans, which was the dumbest thing that I've ever done in my life, because they took so much money. And then I got a bill at the end of the year from the IRS saying that I didn't give them enough money, so I had to give them even more. And then I finally found another job in the same field, and another startup company. All right, in my head, startup companies come and go. Let me gamble with this one. Maybe this one is the right one. That one I stayed at, I think, for like a year. 2 years, actually. And within the first... And that one was based in California. But they wanted an office in the Midwest city that I live in. Because there's a lot of those companies here, so the talent is here. And the Midwest city is an office here. Like I forget what they were stationed in San Francisco, and their rent for their office a month was like their rent for the office building for the office not building the office space for a month was like more than I make even now. And I just never understood it. I knew they were a startup and they wanted to be a tech, quote-unquote, tech startup company. So you need to be in San Francisco for just the optics of it. And I think it's just the dumbest thing ever. Like, why in the world would you, if you didn't have to, why would you have office space in New York, San Francisco, LA, Miami? Like, why? Like, I don't care if your office is in Idaho, it doesn't matter to me. Everything is through the internet now. Like, it doesn't matter if you're chilling out in North Dakota. I'm cool with that. Oh, thank God. There we go. 2 spells, 52 minutes. So, starting that job. I'm giving you my work history here. This is fun. Not all of it. Just some of it. So I get hired out of that startup, and this office is like brand new to the point where they were actually asking, and this is no lie, they were asking people who they hired on to this corporate job if they wanted to come in on the weekends for overtime pay to paint and set up the office. That should have been a red flag right there for me. It should have been another red flag for me right there. And I did it. Overtime? Sure, I'll paint your office. I got no problem with hard work. So, I think my office had about 20 people in there. And a lot of them were either kids, and when I say kids, I mean like early 20s. So they wanted, in my field, they really, really like people with no experience. So, because they don't want you to bring bad habits from another job into there. And that's understandable, I guess. Let's sell these for $100,000. I don't know what they're worth. Probably nothing. I would have figured that would be more expensive. So it's either kids or like right out of college. I remember. I'll move ahead in the story. Within a week, I think a week, maybe 10 days, maybe two work weeks, I was just there helping everybody. Like some of them weren't tech savvy, so they just gave you the computer in the box, and you had the old lady that was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm like, let me set up a computer. I was just doing like a lot of stuff, to help everybody out. Figured it'd be nice to help people out. Well, I did so much that they, within the first 2 weeks of them being there, I became the manager of my department. I was like, okay, that's cool. And they're like, AJ, we are a startup company. We can't afford to pay you. You know, we can't afford to pay you what you deserve for being this manager. And I'm like, okay, I'm down for the cause. Again, this is a startup. If I'm in on the bottom floor and we explode, then I'll reap the benefits. Worked there for 2 years as a manager. And in my second year, like, people start being really cold to me. Like, the other managers start being really cold to me. And, like, ignoring me. And, like I feel like I had this feeling, and I just thought I was being paranoid. I had this feeling that, like, people were trying to, like, either sabotage me or, you know, like, take my ideas. Because I'd built up this department. I was in charge of hiring. I was in charge of firing. Any kind of, like, I'd assign everybody's work, blah, blah, blah. And people liked me, and then all of a sudden it felt like people didn't like me, and I didn't know why. Hey, somebody needs to work on Christmas Eve. We're giving everybody off on Christmas Eve, but somebody has to be in the office. Okay, I'll be that person. Again, I'll volunteer for anything. So, with that job, like, after 2 years, they're like, okay, beat it. Nobody wants to talk to me. I get a phone call. We had set it at an office and up in another city, and so I built that team up. And one of the kids from another office says, "Hey, AJ, I'm wondering if you know if we're gonna get a bonus at the end of this year, because I only make X amount of dollars, and I really wanted to get, like," and he told me his salary for the year, because I didn't know. HR knew the salaries. I didn't. I just hired the people. I recommended them for hiring, and I recommended them for firing, but I had nothing to do with the salaries. And he's like, "I want to get my girlfriend a ring for Christmas," and I was like, "Oh no, I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna get a bonus. We'll have to wait and see." We didn't get a bonus, by the way. And what was really troubling about that call is that he disclosed his yearly salary, and it was not only more than me, his manager, but it was a lot more. And the cities, his Midwest city and my Midwest city, were comparable in cost of living, so it wasn't that. And it wouldn't matter to me either. If I'm your manager, you should not be getting paid more than me unless it's a salary type, not salary, a commission type job. So I kind of go to the other managers. I'm like, "Hey, like, I'm looking for a raise because this is kind of BS." And they had informed me that my services were no longer needed when I told them that I wanted the raise to be at least, I think I said I wanted, like, it was like 20 grand. He was making like 20 grand more than me. Like, and I'm his boss, and I'm doing like, I wasn't even a hands-off boss. Basically, I would take all of the problems off of my employees. People would get, pissed off about something, and I'd handle the problems. So they would just have the easy stuff. So I thought I was a pretty good manager in that sense. We got a Prish statue. I don't know where. It was just in our inventory one day. So it was like 20 grand over what I was making, because I was making nothing. But I was always, it was always the carrot on the stick saying, "Hey, you're going to get there. We're a startup, but we're going to get you there." So I asked for 10 grand more than him, which would have been 30 grand raise. And they said no, and then they informed me, actually, that when they gave me the position, they wanted somebody else. And that person didn't want to build the department. They wanted to take over an already built department. And I had done that, and I had done that well, and now the guy wanted it to take over. So that was that. So the word startup in my household is that's a curse word. It's a nasty, nasty word. Nothing but bad experiences on my part. And the funny thing is that when they opened my Midwest office, they said, hey, we just want to let you know that, and it turns out that they had splintered off from another company. Like, the people that started this startup had splintered off from another company, like a well-established company. They're like, we could do this better. And when they got there, when they like opened the Midwest office that I was part of, they said, we just want to let you know that we don't want to be another company X. Speaking about their old company. We don't want to be them. We want to be better than them. So I don't want you to think that we're trying to be them. And everybody's looking around the room. We're like, we don't even know what the company is. We've never even heard of it. But they were obsessed with it, and that's where that person came from. They wanted that person from Company X to be that manager the whole time, but he said, no, I don't want to build up the company. Turns out for them, again, so I get let go. I get let go, and I heard the guy ran the department that I built into the ground. He quit, and then the company went under. And let me tell you, it is very, very, very difficult. Save your W-2s if you do not. Save your W-2s from all of your jobs. Because it's very hard to prove work history for... I have to be vetted for my position. Which means they need to know, everything. Like, everything. And it's very hard to prove work history when a company goes under. And I've worked for 2 or 3 companies that have gone under. And it equals about, 2.5, 3 years of work experience. So it's pretty major. Pretty major. So luckily, I kept all. I have a box of W-2s. Send them out. Take pictures. But now I'm working for a company that I've worked at for about 2 years. Another major company. Probably not everybody, not like that first company where everybody in the world knows what it is. Probably about half. Half the world knows what my company is. Maybe less. I don't know. But I enjoy it. A lot of stress and, like I said, a lot of eating shit. I ate shit with this one project that got lost in the shuffle, and then they handed it to me, and well, good luck. Nothing we could do about it. But yeah, that's fun. Hopefully I keep that job. I've been looking for a job that I could keep until I retire, 25, 30 years, whatever I've left to work. I'd like to stay with one place. That's the goal. But, okay. We got 2 whole spells. We got nothing done. But we're over an hour. So, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed making it. Until next time, take her easy.